Good evening! Welcome to tonight's edition of Quiztatorship, a trivia game that lets you deduce the answers by combining general knowledge with logical thinking. As we progress, the questions will be getting increasingly harder, so let's see how far you make it. Right, question 1. Now, you know that Aurora Borealis is also called Northern Lights, but what do you call Aurora Australis in English? The answer is Southern Lights. Question 2. What does it mean when someone is a millionaire? The answer is, it means they have no money. Question 3. One day, Muhammad Ali was on a plane, and a flight attendant admonished him to fasten his seatbelt. Superman doesn't need a seatbelt, he said. What did the lady reply to that? The answer is, she said, well, Superman doesn't need a plane either. Question 4. Complete the following quote by writer Kurt Vonnegut. I thought scientists were going to find out exactly how everything worked and then make it work better. I fully expected that by the time I was 21, some scientist, maybe my brother, would have taken a color photograph of God Almighty and sold it to Popular Mechanics magazine. Scientific truth was going to make us happy and comfortable. What actually happened when I was 21 was that we dropped scientific truth on blank. The answer is Hiroshima. Question 5. What figure from Greek mythology is also a city in Europe? The answer is Paris. Question 6. According to Alfred Hitchcock, what was the only way for him to get rid of his fears? The answer is, make a movie about them. Question 7. What book contains the following passage? First day of New Year has been day of horror. Cannot quite believe I'm once again starting the year in a single bed in my parents' house. It is too humiliating at my age. I wonder if they'll smell it if I have a cigarette out of the window. The answer is Bridget Jones' Diary. Question 8. In 1860, Abraham Lincoln received a letter from an 11-year-old girl called Grace Bedell. The girl gave him a piece of advice on his appearance that helped him win the presidential election, thus changing the course of history. What advice did she give him? The answer is, she advised him to grow a beard. She argued that ladies would find him more attractive, and then persuade their husbands to vote for him. Question 9. In former times, a certain type of soldier would be armed with a short musket, which, when you shot it, would emit fire. That fact gave those soldiers their name. What were they called? The answer is dragoons. Question 10. Joe Biden is known as the 46th President of the United States. However, the country has only had 45 presidents. How is this possible? The answer is Grover Cleveland was elected president twice but not in a row. Therefore, he is considered to be president number 22 and 24. Question 1. What did Thomas and William Bowler create in 1849? The answer is obviously the bowler hat. Question 2. The other day I saw the following headline on Sky News: Age group that WFH most. The question is, what does WFH stand for? The answer is work from home. Question 3. The symbol of what organization is modeled on the Swiss flag? The answer is the Red Cross. Question 4. The Arabic word al-kul, meaning essence, forms the basis of what word that we use in English? The answer is alcohol. Question 5. What mighty contests rise from trivial things is the slogan of what famous tabletop game? The answer is Trivial Pursuit. Question 6. In the 19th century they were cylinder-shaped. Then they were flat and round. Then they were round but not quite so flat, and there were two of them. Then they became much smaller and rectangular. Then they were flat and round again, but this time much smaller. And now they have no form at all. What have they been used for? The answer is, I was talking about the different media for recording and distributing music. Question 7. There was an item sold at a home and furniture store which, through misunderstanding, had been mislabeled as Ewoch on the price tag. What was the article in question? The article in question was a doormat that said home, which a not altogether bright employee must have looked at upside down. Question 8. In the 1930s, two psychologists adopted a baby chimp and tried to raise her alongside their own son Donald, to see if that would result in the chimp learning to behave like a human being. After 9 months, the experiment had to be aborted. The question is why? The answer is because Donald started imitating the chimp's behavior. Question 9. During the American Civil War, a little cannonball would sometimes be sewn into the back of soldiers' uniforms. It was needed during the night, when it was bedtime. What exactly was it needed for? The answer is, That was to prevent them from lying on their back and snoring. Question 10. According to mock presenter Philomena Kunk, why was school easier in Shakespeare's times? The answer is because the kids in Shakespeare's times didn't have to read Shakespeare. Alright, question 1. What country leads the world in coffee production? I know it's a really easy one. The answer is Brazil. Question 2. In Venice, you pay 90 euros for 30 minutes of what? Before you say anything, bear in mind these games are supposed to be family friendly. The answer is gondola ride. Question 3. There is a Wikipedia article titled Blonde Stereotype. Whose photograph is at the top of that article? The answer is Marilyn Monroe's. Question 4. Sweetened condensed milk, instant coffee, heavy cream, vanilla extract, chocolate syrup, and whiskey can be used to make what? The answer is Baileys. Yum, yum, yum. Question 5. Neil Tennant from the Pet Shop Boys said that once when he was angry he wrote a song in less than an hour. Later on he was accused of having plagiarized a Cat Stevens song because of similarities in the tunes. What is the song in question? The answer is It's a Sin. It was suggested that the tune vaguely resembled Cat Stevens' Wild World. Question 6. What war lasted from the 5th to the 11th of June 1967? Clue. Keep staring at the question until you've figured it out. And the answer is the Six-Day War. Question 7. Why do Satanists tend to avoid gold and stick to silver? The answer is because gold is associated with Christianity. Question 8. When we use both our eyes, what is our approximate angle of vision up to the nearest 10 degrees? The answer is 180 degrees. Question 9. In 1760, the Earl of Fife, a Scottish nobleman, decided to build a house in close proximity to Trafalgar Square in London. However, the only reason he came to London in the first place was business, definitely not pleasure. He hated the English so much, he could never come to terms with living on English soil. How did he solve the problem? The answer is, he simply had some Scottish soil imported to build his house upon. Question 10. In Arabic-speaking countries, it is Roman. In Greece and Cambodia, it's French. And in France and Russia, it's Indian. And the Portuguese simply call it Peru, which is also what it's called in Hindi. What is it? The answer is, it is a bird that in English is associated with a different country altogether. Turkey. Question 1. In Hungarian, felhő means cloud and karcoló means scratch. What does felhő karcoló mean? The answer is skyscraper. Question 2. In the 1960s, Walt Disney Productions started using various dummy corporations to buy up land in Florida. Altogether, they purchased 43 square miles. The question is, for what purpose? The answer is, after Disneyland had proven to be such a successful venture, Disney was planning the construction of a new theme park, Disney World. Question 3. At the age of 80, the Austrian singer Udo Jürgens went on a tour titled In the Middle of Life. Can you guess what happened to him during that tour? The answer is, yep, he died. Question 4. According to the American writer Leonard Lewis Levinson, what is half a dog in height and a dog and a half in length? The answer is a dachshund, aka a sausage dog. Question 5. What was launched into orbit in 1995 after costing the American taxpayer almost $3 billion? The answer is the Hubble Space Telescope. Question 6. Why do we shiver when we feel cold? The answer is, when we shiver, our muscles relax and contract, thus increasing our body temperature. Question 7. If science proves some belief of our religion wrong, then our religion will have to change. This was said by a famous religious leader. Can you guess the religion in question? The answer is Buddhism. I mean, honestly, what did you think? Question 8. Who am I? I was born in Australia on the 7th of October 1975. I'm mostly famous for my comic songs, but I also wrote the scores for the musicals Matilda and Groundhog Day and appeared in a production of Jesus Christ Superstar by the most musical of all Tories, Andrew Lloyd. The answer is Tim Minchin. Question 9. Fill in the blank. 22.2 million blank took place in 2021 globally. The number of fatalities was 176. The answer is flights. Question 10. In Japan, they were used for religious rites, for signaling, for transporting things, for gathering military intelligence, and even for storming fortresses. Today, people just use them for fun. What are they? The answer is kites. Thanks for watching. You don't have to like or subscribe or anything like that. But then, it's just one click, right? I would appreciate it. Check out the channel for more videos like this one, and have a peaceful night. Question 1. What object unites Snow White, Sir Isaac Newton, and Steve Jobs? The answer is an apple. Question 2. After her divorce from Tom Cruise, what did Nicole Kidman say she could finally wear again? The answer is high heels. Question 3. According to Jon Stewart, religion has given people hope in a world torn apart by what? The answer is in a world torn apart by religion. Question 4. According to the researcher Tatiana McPartland, what brings us closer to people who are geographically far away, but separates us from those who are nearby? The answer is mobile phones. Question 5. What was Rembrandt's first name? The answer is Rembrandt was his first name. Question 6. Where can you find a pyramid, an eagle, a bunch of leaves, and a number? The answer is on the American dollar. Question 7. The famous film critic Roger Ebert would always rate films on a 4-star scale, 4 being the highest one. However, once, after watching a particularly nauseating horror film, he refused to give it a star rating at all, stating it occupies a world where the stars don't shine. What was the film in question? Bear in mind he died in 2013. The answer is The Human Centipede. Question 8. In Liverpool, there is a street named after John Alexander Brodie, who died in 1934. Brodie had a company manufacturing fishing nets until he patented a net for a different purpose altogether. Can you guess which? The answer is the new net was designed for football goals. Question 9. In 1995, 2 talented drug addicts wrote a program and set up the world's first ever online payment system. The system they created is used by major online retailers to this day. The question is, what were they selling? The answer is, how do I say it without angering YouTube's algorithm? They were selling smut, as in photographic materials for grown-ups. Remember that next time you order a scented candle for your grandma. Question 10. In ancient Japan, people believed in three forces. The force of weapons was symbolized by the sword, and the force of riches was symbolized by gold and money. The most valuable one, though, was self-awareness. Now, what was self-awareness symbolized by? The answer is the mirror. Thanks for watching. You don't have to like or subscribe or anything like that. But then, it's just one click, right? I would appreciate it. Check out the channel for more videos like this one, and have a peaceful night. Question 1. What footwear do you use for practicing karate? The answer is, this was a trick question. Karate is practiced barefoot. Question 2. In ancient Greece, why would the host at a dinner reception take the first sip of wine? The answer is, to demonstrate that the drink wasn't poisoned. Question 3. Who am I? I was born in a tiny Californian city in May 1946. The media frequently calls me the goddess of pop. In the 1970s, my husband and I hosted a TV show on CBS, but he didn't stay my husband for much longer. We divorced in 1975. Today, I'm one of the best-selling recording artists of all time, having won an Emmy, a Grammy and an Oscar. The answer is Cher. Question 4. What does the figure 5.5 liters have to do with humans? The answer is, this is the average volume of blood in the human body. Question 5. What's the Japanese for one skilled in stealth? The answer is ninja. Question 6. Where can you find an A inside of an E? The answer is in the @ sign. Question 7. A little boy once saw a famous monument and said, "This lady is just like me. She likes books and ice cream." What exactly did the boy see? The answer is the Statue of Liberty. Question 8. When you see a street named Love Lane, more often than not, what does this mean? The answer is, this means that in the past, the street was actively used by ladies of the night to conduct their business. Question 9. When manufacturing this particular product, the bacteria consume the lactic acid, and as they are enjoying the lactic acid, they produce carbon dioxide bubbles. What do those bubbles cause, and in what? The answer is, they cause holes in cheese. Question 10. Beef stroganoff is sautéed pieces of beef in a sauce of mustard and sour cream. It was created by Count Grigory Stroganov out of necessity. The Count explained to his cook how exactly to prepare this soft, delicious dish. Now the question is, what exactly was that necessity? The answer is, the Count had lost all of his teeth and wasn't able to chew. Question 1. In the past, newly arriving ships had to isolate for 40 days to prevent a plague breakout, giving rise to what term that we use today? The answer is quarantine, from the medieval Latin word quarantana, meaning 40. Question 2. What famous geeky event first took place on the 24th of July 1964 in New York City? The answer is Comic-Con. I mean, what did you think? Question 3. According to this organization's website, it was founded in 1971 by a small group of concerned individuals who set sail to Amchitka Island off the coast of Alaska to try and stop a US nuclear weapons test. Who are these guys? The answer is, shockingly, Greenpeace. Question 4. In the early modern period, up to the 18th century, China had 3 main export goods. Name 2 of them. The answer is tea, porcelain, and silk. Question 5. In Japan, they have sprinklers that spray warm water on the street. The question is why? The answer is to melt the ice in winter. Question 6. Finish the following soundbite by Mark Twain. A classic is something that everybody wants to have read, but blank. The answer is, but nobody wants to read. Question 7. In the animated classic Fantasia, who is the character Yen Sid inspired by? The answer is Disney. Yen Sid is obviously Disney in reverse. Question 8. As Johannes Brahms was becoming a renowned composer, he would try to support his parents financially as best he could. Knowing that his father could be unpredictable when it came to money, he had an idea. He said to him, "When things go badly, the best consolation is always in music. Carefully read my old copy of Soul, and you will find what you need." Soul is an oratorio by Handel, by the way. How exactly was that supposed to help his father? Brahms had hidden a sizable stack of cash in there. Question 9. Back in the 1960s, 70s and 80s, brands like Lincoln, Cadillac, Buick and Chrysler used to make large luxury cars. Those special cars were characterized by their extravagant and campy style, and apparently lots of pimps liked to drive them. What was the slang expression for those cars? The answer is pimp mobiles. Question 10. A question about Robert Charles Benchley, an American humorist. One day, at a party that he was attending, the guests were playing a game. They had to come up with an epitaph for themselves. One actress, who had been sleeping around quite a lot, had no ideas whatsoever, and so she asked Benchley for help. He thought of an epitaph for her that started with "at last." What was the rest of it? The answer is, "At last she sleeps alone." Alright, question 1. What do Portugal, Brazil, Cape Verde, Angola, Mozambique, Guinea-Bissau, and Sao Tome and Principe have in common? The answer is they all speak Portuguese. Question 2. Once a year, the Dolby Theatre in Hollywood is used for what? The answer is obviously for the Academy Awards, aka the Oscars. Question 3. One end of a bamboo stick is first soaked in adhesive materials before it is coated with a mixture of fragrance, herbal and wood powders. The coating process is repeated 2 more times. After that, the result is dried under the sun. What product is manufactured in this way? The answer is incense sticks. Question 4. The phrase "picture elements" gave rise to what popular word that we use today when talking about IT? The answer is pixels. Question 5. What song title is a metaphor for the return to the state of deep depression the singer had experienced? The answer is Amy Winehouse, "Back to Black." Question 6. In one of her books, the American psychologist Lil Lowndes warns the reader not to smile right away when greeting somebody. Rather, she argues you should wait a few moments. Why? The answer is because if you wait a little before producing that gorgeous smile of yours, it will seem less mechanical and more genuine. Question 7. What TV superhero suffers from the borderline and the antisocial personality disorder and is described by Wikipedia as an egotistical and sadistic narcissist? The answer is Homelander from The Boys. Question 8. What fabric is named after the city of Nîmes in France? The answer is denim. De Nîmes. Get it? Question 9. What's missing? Universe, galaxy, blank, star, planet, moon, and asteroid. The answer is solar system. Question 10. According to Ossip, a character in Amortau's novel A Gentleman in Moscow, what has been the single most dangerous force in the history of class struggle, undermining the inevitable forces of revolution in the United States by making people believe things aren't as bad as they actually are? The answer is Hollywood. Question 1. The name of what game is a combination of the Greek word for four and a popular sports game? The answer is Tetris. Question 2. Since 1831, what must marching British soldiers do when on a bridge? The answer is break step. Question 3. The writer Christopher Hitchens once said, "Owners of dogs will have noticed that if you provide them with food and water and shelter and affection, they will think you are God." After that, what did he say about cats? The second half of the quote goes like this: whereas owners of cats are compelled to realize that if you provide them with food and water and shelter and affection, they draw the conclusion that they are God. Question 4. According to Agent Steve Murphy from the Netflix show Narcos, the bad guys need to get lucky every time. The good guys blank. Finish the phrase. The answer is the good guys only need to get lucky once. Question 5. How did King Martin of Aragon's court jester inadvertently kill him? The answer is by making him laugh a bit too hard. Question 6. I have a question about Edward Bernays, an American advertising specialist. In 1929, what did Bernays market to women as torches of freedom? The answer is cigarettes, because America, yay. Question 7. According to the Caribbean poet Derek Walcott, History is boredom interrupted by what? The answer is war. Question 8. There was this British play from 1938 where a man manipulates his wife into thinking she is losing her mind by slowly changing the intensity of the lights in their home. What was that play called? The answer is Gaslight. Question 9. A question from the field of science. There are around 500 of them in the world, and most of them are located on a hill or a mountain. What are they? The answer is observatories. Question 10. In 1854, Lord Palmerston ordered Vice Admiral and scientist Robert Fitzroy to set up a new governmental department with the British Home Office. For 11 years, that department would be constantly ridiculed because of promises that would remain unfulfilled. Some say that was the main reason why Mr. Fitzroy ended up taking his own life. What exactly was that department? The answer is the Meteorological Office. Right, okay, let's do it. Question 1. The Arsenal player Dennis Bergkamp is jokingly called the non-flying Dutchman. Why is that? The answer is because he is afraid of flying. Question 2. Both these horror film characters were introduced to the public in the 1980s and enjoyed very successful franchises. However, it wasn't until 2003 that they finally got to meet each other. Who are these two characters? The answer is Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees. Question 3. Complete the following quote by blogger Invegi. People are prisoners of their phone. That's why it's called a blank phone. The answer is cell phone. Question 4. Me at the Zoo was published on the 23rd of April 2005 at 8:31 p.m. and was the first ever what? By the way, I guarantee you know the platform it was published on. The answer is, it was the first ever YouTube video. Question 5. Nowadays they can be shot into space, used to fertilize a tree, made into jewelry, or even utilized for fireworks or tattooing. What are they? The answer is your ashes after you've been cremated. Question 6. What comic book and movie series takes place in Basin City? The answer is Sin City. Question 7. Back in 1649, it was Oliver Cromwell that made sure Charles I lost his head. Then, 12 years later, the English royalists beheaded Cromwell himself. Now the question is, why is it that Cromwell didn't offer any resistance whatsoever? And if you're sensing that the question isn't quite as straightforward as it seems, then that's because it is. The answer is because he'd already been dead for 2 years. Question 8. In ancient Athens, judges were chosen randomly by means of a draw, after which they would immediately head to the trial. What was the rationale behind this kind of approach? The answer is, that was to prevent people from bribing them. Question 9. In Italy, there is a bank called Credito Emiliano that stores Parmesan cheese in its vaults. The question is, why do they do that? The answer is, as it ages, the cheese becomes more valuable, so the bank accepts it as collateral. Question 10. On the 31st of December, 1879, the day Gilbert and Sullivan's operetta The Pirates of Penzance was to have its world premiere, Arthur Sullivan was still working on the score. All the tunes had already been completed and rehearsed, and yet he had managed to write one crucial part. What was the part in question? The answer is the overture. Thanks for watching. You don't have to like or subscribe or anything like that. But then, it's just one click, right? I would appreciate it. Check out the channel for more videos like this one and have a peaceful night.